Loci has been roaming this forest for months, searching for somewhere to call home. The jungle can be a lonely place for a single macaque. He now has a big decision to make. To the west of him are a clan called the Street Troop, led by a seasoned alpha. This family enjoy a life of plenty on the edge of the city, literally stumbling over their food. To the north are the Hill Troop. A grizzled warrior rules over these forest dwellers, and they know all the tricks of the jungle. Loci aspires to have a family like this, of being an alpha like one of them. And he's prepared to fight for this dream. Loci's story takes place in Southeast Asia, on the island of Singapore. Long-tailed macaques are native here and can be found all over the country. The Street Troop live in the middle of the island, right on the edge of a forest reserve. The same forest that Loci has just emerged from. As an intruder, he must be careful not to be seen. First, he must learn who he's up against. With over 30 members, the Street Troop are a large family, led by an unusually bulky alpha, Matnoor. He walks with an unmissable strut, and around here is known as King of the Streets. Matnoor's ruled for 8 years, one of the longest reigns of any alpha in Singapore. And he gets the respect he deserves. At 20 years old, Matnoor's also one of the oldest alphas around. But he has no plans to retire. Why would he walk away from this paradise? His territory straddles the best of two worlds, where the edge of the jungle meets the start of the city. It means the family can shelter in the forest when they need to, and have a fully stocked larder growing right next door. The urban gardens serve up an almost unlimited buffet, so there's plenty to go around. Being born a Street Troop kid means you're unlikely to ever go hungry. Their dad, Matnoor, makes ruling look easy. But the Street Troop's good fortune is no accident. Matnoor has fought hard to secure this home for his family, he expects them all to behave themselves. Like all long-tailed macaque troops, each member of his family has a ranking. Matnoor is, of course, number 1. Next are 3 large adult males, the Henchmen. They've fought to win their spots at the top. Now, they're Matnoor's right-hand monkeys. It's a job that comes with excellent perks. Next in line are the high-ranking females, the Sisterhood. Unlike the henchmen, these ladies were born into their privilege. Mothers pass their rankings to their daughters and teach them how to enjoy a life of pampering. But not everyone has it so good. Sara is one of the lowest-ranked females in the troop. She's 5 months pregnant and due any day. But that doesn't mean she's getting much attention. Last in line are the teenage boys. Soon, Matnoor will force them to leave home. Even a laid-back leader won't tolerate too much testosterone around. After all, every male macaque aspires to be an alpha. And unlike the females who remain with the troop for life, a young male creates his own destiny. Just like Loci is doing. At 9 years old, he's in his prime. In a fight against Matnoor, the odds would be in his favor. But with the loyal henchmen involved, he'd be outnumbered. Perhaps he'd be better off trying to move in on the hill troop. The edge of their territory begins just under 2 kilometers away from where Loci is now. Their home is bigger than Matnoor's. But having more space doesn't necessarily equal an easier life. Most of the hill troop's territory is thick jungle, which they share with a diverse range of creatures. Some are a little tougher than others. Here, the hill troop live a much wilder lifestyle than their street-smart cousins. There are no fancy gardens for them to forage through, and no comfortable walls to lounge around on. Instead, they make do with a tree branch for their morning pampering session. But they must always choose their resting spot carefully. Some of their forest neighbors can be dangerous. Letting one of these carnivores get too close could easily lead to an untimely ending. And with just over 20 family members, every monkey counts. Like every long-tailed macaque family, the hill troop are led by an alpha male. But Aarav, their ruler, is no ordinary monkey. He's 25 years old, ancient by macaque standards, and he's a tough, seasoned warrior. Scars are a testament to fights he's fought and won. He's never lost a battle, Aarav is supported by 2 aging henchmen and an unusually large harem of females. Some a little worn out by a life of endless mothering. At 21, Judith is the oldest and one of the highest ranked females in the troop. She's birthed 7 babies in her lifetime, and they've all survived to adulthood. High-ranked females and their kids get the best food, the best shelter, and the best protection from predators. Loci has now spent nearly a week stalking both troops. Plotting to overthrow an alpha is a bold move. Very few males attempt a direct attack. If Loci tries, he'll be putting his life on the line. It would be much safer for him to become a henchman and perhaps inherit the top job one day. But Loci doesn't seem to want to wait. He wants to rule over a troop now. He's also desperate to secure himself a home territory on an island that has limited space. "200 years ago, most of Singapore was covered in lush tropical rainforest. Back then, there were tens of thousands of long-tailed macaques here. These days, 90% of the jungle has disappeared, and with it, many of the monkeys. Now, there are only around 2,000 macaques surviving in Singapore. And most have had to adapt to the urban world right on their doorstep. But despite the loss of so much of the jungle, Singapore is still one of the greenest countries in the world. What remains of the rainforest is protected. And on the edge of the jungle, hundreds of carefully planted trees and shrubs create an accidental monkey paradise. Matnoor's streets are lined with over 20 tropical plum trees. And they've just come into season. If food was scarce, a low-ranked male would never be allowed to eat first. But in Matnoor's troop, those rules rarely apply. There's more than enough for everyone to literally stuff their faces. Cheek pouches are filled to capacity. They're like a monkey's shopping bag, a means to take food away for later. Loci would be happy to get his hands on just one plum. But he isn't rushing in. He seems wary of Matnoor's henchmen, always close to their leader. But perhaps the henchmen are growing complacent. They have no idea Loci is nearby. Or that they are missing one of their family members. Hanging back, 100 meters away, is Sara, the low-ranked female. Just a few hours ago, she gave birth to baby boy Max. These first moments are her time to bond with him. Just the two of them. But this bonding time can't last long. Sara must rejoin the troop. A mom and a newborn are vulnerable alone. Sara hasn't eaten since yesterday. A few ripe plums are exactly what she needs, especially with Max demanding food too. He's totally reliant on her milk for the first few months of his life. Sara may be hungry, but she shouldn't be dawdling here. The rest of the family have already finished breakfast and are on the move. They're not waiting around for her. It's up to Sara to keep up. But she wants to let Max finish suckling. She's used to trailing behind the group. But now that she has Max, she must be more careful. The streets can be a dangerous place for a newborn. And a creature from the jungle has just arrived into street troop territory. This carnivore has an excellent sense of smell, and he can smell blood. Monitor lizards are skilled hunters. Max would be no match for its claws. With her family long gone, Sara must get Max to safety by herself. Up high is usually the safest place to be. But height isn't a deterrent for this predator. The lizard's sharp claws mean it can scale this near-vertical trunk with ease. Despite being exhausted from her morning, Sara keeps moving. Luckily, the lizard's jumping skills are no match for hers. Still, Sara keeps a careful eye on the reptile. She doesn't realize there could be a far bigger threat looming nearby. Loci. If he overthrows Matnoor, he will want to father his own bloodline. New alphas sometimes kill the smaller babies in the troop to make space for their own. And Max is now the youngest. Morning in Singapore's forests are rush hour for most of the residents. It's breakfast time. Unlike their city slicker cousins, the hill troop must work a little harder for their meals. There are plenty of fruit trees in the forest, but they don't grow in organized rows like out on the streets, and each comes into season at a different time of the year. These aren't ripe yet. The family split up and spread out over hundreds of meters to see what is ready to eat. They know their home turf like the back of their hands. And remember where each and every fruiting tree is, and approximately when it should be ripe. A few of the youngsters check out one of their fig trees. They're picky about which ones they eat. Green means it will taste too bitter. Red means it is ready, but they don't like them too ripe. Those ones don't taste as good. Finally, this fussy youngster finds one to his taste. Fruit makes up the bulk of the hill troop's diet. But it can take a while to find enough for all 20 of them. This morning, they've ended up separating into small foraging groups so that each monkey has enough to eat. Aarav's henchmen end up far from their leader, distracted by the forest larder. A caterpillar is an unexpected treat. Finally, with full tummies, the hill troop begin to regroup and realize something is wrong. Aarav has been attacked. The first back from foraging have already rushed to his side. But it looks like it's too late. Aarav is covered in fresh blood and deep bites. Nearby, no longer in hiding, is Loci. he's finally challenged an alpha. And without his henchmen, it appears Aarav lost the fight. But a troop takeover is not as simple as beating up the alpha. Loci must now get the females on his side. They've been loyal to Aarav since he seized power 4 years ago. And by the way they are tending to his wounds, it looks like they still are. After all, Aarav's been a good leader, never losing a battle until now. But Judith and the rest of the family need to be realistic. They need a strong alpha, a male who can protect their territory and father hardy babies. Judith has seen at least 3 alphas come and go in her lifetime with the troop. And she always wants what's best for her daughters and grandchildren. Aarav faces a difficult choice. The family need him to prove he is the best option. With his henchmen by his side, he could try to fight Loci again. But his injuries will put him at a disadvantage. He could lose his life. The alternative is to stand down and allow Loci to seize power. But for now, Aarav is forced to put all decisions on hold. A storm is brewing. Singapore lies just 1 degree north of the equator, where it's always hot and humid. And right now, it's monsoon season. Every few days, heavy rain clouds roll in. The skies darken, and the rain begins to fall. The city is soaked. 700 million liters of water can rain down in just a few hours. Some of the city's residents take shelter, while others brave it out. The downpour usually doesn't last long. But for the last week, the weather has been different. Clouds blanket the city. Unusual cold winds bring a chill to the air. The rains keep coming. Singapore is having a cold snap. In the jungle, it's even chillier than the streets. The hill troop should take shelter in the trees. But Aarav has disappeared. Without him, the family have no leader. No one to make the decisions Loci makes his final move. And with no one to challenge him, he takes his place as new Alpha of the Hill Troop. Just under 2 kilometers away, on the edge of his streets, Matnoor has corralled his large family into the trees to shelter. The endless rain is testing Sara's strength as a new mom. For days, Max's life has been in danger. He only has a thin layer of newborn hair, and he could easily catch a cold. The high-ranked females huddle together to keep their youngsters dry. Sara does her best on her own. She shelters Max until finally the rains ease. The cold snap is over. With the storms past, Sara quickly gets Max warmed up. If he stays healthy, it will be her efforts that brought him through. Max may have been born to a low-ranked female, but Sara is proving to be the best mom he could hope for. After days of sheltering, Max's older half-brothers and sisters are bursting with energy. If Max survives a few more weeks, he'll be big enough to join in on this playtime. Matnoor runs a play-fighting class for some of the older kids. It's important they learn how to defend themselves. And learn to pick the right moment to retreat. Not all alpha males are so in touch with their fatherly side. But Matnoor is an experienced alpha and has learned that spending time with his kids gives them the best start in life. Play is a crucial part of his kids' education. It helps them develop their social skills, improve their coordination, and learn about this manicured world that they have been born into. The older kids take their games to new heights. They may be living on the edge of the forest, but they still need to know how to climb trees and how to get out of them. Over the years, Matnoor has fathered around 50 children. Sadly, not all have survived. But for those that do, they have two very different paths their lives will take. His daughters will stay in the troop to become mothers when they are around 6 years old. Matnoor will no longer be alpha by then. His sons, like little Max, will eventually leave home. Max could even grow up to become a king, like his father. As the light fades, Matnoor calls for the family to get ready for bed. They head for a large tree where all 30 members of the troop can comfortably tuck in. The high-ranked females form their exclusive huddle. For the lower-ranked, bedtime is often more of a solitary affair. Sara expects to spend the night alone. But she has a surprise visitor. A young female, curious to meet Max. With no baby of her own yet, this is a chance for her to practice being a mom. And for Sara, it's nice to have some adult company. Matnoor makes sure everyone is in bed before he heads up. His family may have adapted to a life on the edge of the city. But at night, they still take to the trees to sleep, just as their ancestors have done for hundreds of years. The temperature in Singapore's forests once again hits 33 degrees. But life here is far from normal for the hill troop. It's taking some time for everyone to get used to Loci being their leader. Every alpha male has a unique touch, and so far, Loci seems to be a little indecisive. The family have been waiting for hours for him to lead them out to forage for breakfast. But Loci seems hesitant. He doesn't know this part of the forest like they do. Judith is getting impatient. Aarav would have them all spread out looking for fruit by now. Loci seems to realize he's not doing a good job. Keeping the family happy so they stay loyal to him is crucial. Questionable decisions are often made under pressure. And Loci is about to take a huge risk. Loci has had lots of practice at navigating through this forest. He heads south, toward the urban world. The family fall in line and follow him. Even though they're a little wary of the big primates. But Loci seems comfortable. In his travels, he's seen plenty of them. The family quickly adapt to Loci's pace. Everyone is keeping up. Mostly. The troop arrive at the edge of their territory. Beyond the barrier is street troop land. Bringing the family here is a very risky move. If Matnoor and his henchmen are around, they will very likely attack. The hill troop cautiously follow their new leader. With no sign of any other macaques, their confidence grows. Loci leads them out of the parking lot and deeper into street troop territory. Loci remembers this place. It's where he watched Matnoor's family stuff their faces with fruit. With no sign of the street troop, he pushes on. The last time he was here, the pavements were covered in fresh tropical plums. But now, most of the fruit is rotten. The heavy rains appear to have destroyed them. And although they're hungry, the family won't get much nourishment from decaying fruit. This explains why there's not a street troop member in sight. They've moved on to greener pastures. Just under 2 kilometers away, in a large housing estate, Matnoor's family are scoping out a new foraging location. It's a little more urban than they're used to, but they've hit the jackpot. everyone tucks into a meal. Even low-ranked Sara munches down on a large papaya fruit. Being a member of the street troop means you never go hungry. It's one of the main reasons the troop are so loyal to Matnoor. He's been around long enough to know where to find food when times are tough. The only downside to leading his family out of their home territory is leaving it wide open to intruders. On the edge of Matnoor's streets, Loci tries to sleep. But he's chosen the wrong tree. Right next to the road, close to streetlights. It's so bright that the whole hill troop is awake. They're confused and get up, ready to start the day as if it's early morning. But it's evening, and being on the streets at night is a dangerous move. The worst possible time for youngsters to play. Dazzling moving lights are not something the hill troop are used to. They have no idea how to dodge traffic that they can barely see. Some family members wander off, away from the main group. Loci seems out of his depth. He had hoped leading his new family closer to the city would be a good move. Now, it appears he's put them directly in the path of danger.